Okay, Team Impact. We have kind of a unique situation. I know half of you are taking the test. The other half are going to be working on this homework, and then you're going to flip the next day. So I'm in the second page of your packet. So it says dividing a decimal by a decimal. I'm not going to worry about this side, so we won't worry about this. But what I do want to have a core focus of is the second side. And we're going to divide a decimal by a decimal. We're going to do numbers two through five, and I'm going to show my work, and then I'm going to let you get started on this homework that's posted in Wednesdays and Thursdays folder. Okay. All right, so let's get started here. So we have the written number, the problem written horizontally. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up. So the first number is my dividend, 12 and 42 hundredths divided by 1 and 8 tenths. Now, what we have to do when we have a decimal in the dividend and divisor is take care of the decimal first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this decimal point as far as I can to the right, and that's one place. And what I do outside, I do inside. So I'm going to move it over 1 and take it straight up and put in my quotient. Very important that you stay organized here. So it is. So now we go to work. This is the number 18. That decimal's moved over here. And really, this is the number 1,242. We've taken care of the decimal. We're not going to worry about it. It's gone. So here we go. 18 into 1. No. 18 into 12. No. But 18 will go into 124. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of trial and error here. And what I do sometimes is I just kind of list the multiples of 18, so if you think of it, 18 times 1 is 18, times 2 is 36, 18 times 3 is 54. Okay. And then, times 4 is 72, and times 5 is 90. And times 6 is 108. And if you doubled those, you would see that, right? But anyway, let's take a look at this. So I see 108, but you know what? I might be able to get another one in there. I don't know. Maybe I can. If I add 18 to this 108, I'm going to get 126, which is just a tad big. So 18 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, and I'm just counting by the multiples of 18, right? Okay, so I know it's going to be 18, okay, times 6. So I'm going to put my 6 there. 6 times 18 is 108. And I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to end up with 16. I've already taken care of my decimal, so I'm going to bring my 2 down. Okay, well, I stopped at 126, right? And that was what, 18 times 7. Let's see what 18 times 8 is. 18 times 8 is 144. And 18 times 9, believe it or not, is 162. And that's what we're looking for. So there it is, times 9. That is 162. And I subtract and I get 0. So my quotient for the first problem is 6 and 9 tenths. Draw a line, break it up, and I'm going to go to number 3. I use this technique sometimes because I write these out and then I have quick reference to everything. So sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's not. If the number gets too big, then it certainly isn't real helpful. But let's get started here. 1,400 divided by 32. 1,400 divided by 32. So this is something that's kind of manageable, I guess. If we set it up, if I counted by 32s, and if you don't like it right in this way, let's do it the other way. 32 times 1. 32 times 2 is 64. 32 times 3 is 96. 32 times 4 is, let me think, 128. And 32 times 5 is 192. And I'm going to stop right there. So again, I just went 32 times 1, times 2, times 3, and so on. So now I have something to reference. It's kind of like doing your work on the front end. But anyway, 32 goes into 1, 0 times. into 14 0 times, but it will go into 140. And there's my multiple that I'm going to use. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes 4 times, doesn't it? Yes, it does. 4 times 32 is 128. And I subtract. And I'm going to borrow. 10 minus is 2, and that's 12. That is less than that. I'm in good shape. I bring down the other 0. Well, clearly I can see it's almost, that's just a tad big. So I'm going to have to go back to 32 times 3. And that 3 goes over that 0. See, 3 times 32 was 96. And when I subtract here, it's going to be close to that because it's a good ways away, isn't it? 10 is 4. 11 minus 9 is 2. That is less than that. I'm in good shape. Now, we have an issue here. We have to insert our decimal, put it up into our quotient, and annex a 0 and bring it down, right? Oh, boy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extend this bar out a little bit, and sometimes you have to do that. Now, what I probably should do is maybe do a little bit more front-end work here, right? So I know 32 times 5 was 192. What's 32 times 6? Well, 32 times 6 is 224. That's pretty close to that. Do you think I can get another 32? No, because 20, yeah, it's not going to work there. So let's go with a 6 there. 6 times 32, we found out, is 224. And we subtract, and we borrow, and we have 16, which is less than that. I'm going to add another 0 and bring it down. You see, I can add as many zeros, annex as many zeros as I need to. That's not an issue, is it? 32 into this. So I go, oh, there. Oh, do I see anything there? No. Well, it looks like we're going to have to use this 128 again here, isn't it? Did I miss one here? 32 times 1, 32 times 2, 32 times 3, 32 times 4. And then you know what I jumped to is 6. I forgot that there's a 5 in there, didn't I? Because 32 times 5, 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1, 15, is 160. I made a mistake there, didn't I? And that's okay. So that 5 is going to go there. 5 times 32 is 160. Subtracting is 0. So, yeah, I caught my mistake right there, and so on. But anyway, I'm going to circle my quotient. I'm going to draw the line. And 1,400 divided by 32 is 43 and 65 hundredths. I think we can fit number 4 on here. Let me bring it up just a little bit. Number 4 reads, $195 and 3/10 divided by 9 and 3/10. And what I like to do is double check and make sure I wrote it down. Okay, so I have a decimal in the divisor, so I'm going to move it over to the right. And what I do outside, I do inside. And there it is, and I'm going to extend that bar. Right? Okay, so again, we can go through and do the same thing. Sometimes I'm not going to do it this time because this 93 is kind of weird for me to count in multiples. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to grind it out. But anyway, 93 into 1, no. Into 19, no. But it will go into 195. Now, 9 goes into 19 2 times. So this should go about 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract. See how I did that? That was just another way. Instead of listing the multiples, I multiplied it through. I'm going to borrow. 15, that's 9. 8 minus 8 is 0 and 0. I already moved my decimal, and it's really important that I put my next digit right above that 3. Well, clearly that is 1. And that's 93, and we subtract and get 0. So our answer is 21. I don't need the decimal point there because there's nothing after it. So 3 separate examples to look at. I wrote my multiples here like so, but this time I kind of did it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to flip my paper over, and we're going to do number 5 together. So hopefully you can see that. And number 5 is, and I'm going to bring it down here just a little bit. Number 5, 744 divided by 60. Let's double check it. That looks good. Okay. Now, this is one where, you know what? Let me bring that up a little bit for you. I'm going to go ahead and list these 60 because I can count by 60s easily, right? 120. 60 times 3 is 180. 6 times 4 is 24 out of 0. 6 times 5 is 30 out of 0. And 6 times 6 is 36. And I'm going to stop right there because I don't need to go much further than that. 60 into 7. Nope. 60 into 74, that's easy. That's 1. Subtract. Get 14, that's less than that. Bring the 4 down. Interesting, isn't it? 60 goes into this 2 times. That is 120. It's nice when you do that work on the front end, isn't it? You can reference that. 4, 2. That's less than that. Add a decimal. Take it up. Annex a 0. Bring it down. There's the 240. That's what we have. That's 60 times 4. Extend that bar is 24. Subtract and get 0. So our answer is 12 and 4/10. And our answer is the quotient. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling pretty good. I think maybe we ought to probably try and do one more just for, I guess, comfort. Okay, and I'm going to drop down to number 8. It's a little bit different. Number 8 here. Okay, so it's a different scenario. But anyway, I'll circle number 8, and I have 3,150 divided by 10 and 5/10. Okay. So we have a problem. We have a dividend divisor, and we're going to look for the quotient here. I double check my digits, and they're in good shape. So let's go. Move it 1. Now, there's no decimal, so it's at the end. I need to move it 1, take it up, put it in the quotient, extend the bar, and I have to annex a 0 there. Okay, because when I move it a place in that valley, I call that a valley, I'm going to add a 0. Okay, no problems now. Now we just go to work, right? And let's get after it. Now this is probably one, and I jumped ahead of myself. I probably should write some multiples down, shouldn't I? 105 times 1. 105 times 2 is 210. 105 times, it would be 315. See, I can count by this multiple pretty easy. So I like to do them when they're easy like that. 105 times 105 times 4 is 420. 100 times 5 is 525. And I'm going to stop there. I don't think I need to go any bigger. But again, I've done my work. Times 1, times 2, times 3, and so on. All right, 105 into 3, no. But into 31, no. But into 315 goes 3 times. 3 times 105 is 315. Subtract and get 0. See, when you do that work on the front end, it becomes easy, right? Add a 0, bring it down. 105 into 0, 0 times. If you want to, you can multiply it through, and then you have to bring that 0 down. That holds value. It does, right? 105 into double 0 is 0, and that goes above there. That is 0, and our answer is 300. So we've looked at 4 different scenarios here. You know, I had to start by annexing a 0. If I go back up here, I added a 0 and annexed a 0 here without moving it. If I go to the front pages, and you can see at the top, this just went over 1 and over 1. But understand that this is just a new concept that I threw in today by doing a little bit of math on the front end. Or if you remember this problem, I did it on the back end. Excuse me, number 4, I did it on the back end. So anyway, your homework's in the folder. If you're doing this homework on Wednesday, you'll take the quiz on Thursday. If you're taking a quiz on Wednesday, then you'll do this homework on Thursday. But regardless, both groups, A and B, And I apologize about the confusion, but it's the easiest way for us to do this. It's all due on Friday. So anyway, have a good day, guys. I'll see you.